Peace.
This is Joshua Law, Mr. PhD. You're just now entering the cipher called real2reel360. KYs.
Peace, God.
Bring that beat in, kid.
Indeed.
Peace.
Yeah. What's going on, party people? Welcome to the real2reel360 show. Let's get it in.
We do the knowledge and wisdom so you can understand. Real360 shows in full command. We changing the game for how it all was taught. From bondage to freedom to an independent thought. Yo, the show is here to bring about a change for real. To lighten everyone so we all know the deal. 360 degrees is a fact. We created the show to give our love back to our communities so we can know what's going on and give them the support from knowledge to porn. So if you're ready to learn, then it's time to go. Sit back and relax and enjoy your show. Peace.
Peace to Allah's 5% nation of gods and nerfs and to all the human families of the planet Earth. I be the DJ KYs, aka Kato the Black Superhero, welcoming you and everybody to another special, spectacular episode of the real2reel360 show. But what would the real2reel360 be without my counterpart, my brother in God? None other than my co-host, my right-hand man with 50,000 grand, and I need about 5 cents if I can get some. All right? Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome my brother in God, Joshua Melala, a.k.a. Mr. PhD himself. Peace, God.
Peace. If I had 50 G's, baby, you could get at least 2 nickels out of that.
Yeah.
You know? But I want to say peace to Allah's 5% nation of God's nerves. Also, too, I want to shout out H&L, Pickle Perfected. You know what I'm saying? Those young ladies were spectacular. And I was remiss I wasn't able to be on the show, but the show went well yesterday. I want to salute you for holding it down for the God, man, because you did your thing, man. And I'm proud of your kid, man. You know how we do, baby.
Indeed.
Today we have, and when we say that real2reel360 is your home, this is your home, because this young lady has been here a few times. You know what I'm saying? Because she constantly reinvents herself, and she dives into different things that's going on in the community. She has her own Boss Queen brand that she has on Mars Wings. What don't she has is the thing. Like when we get to talking about this young lady, it's like what she don't have or what she don't do, because she has a whole list of things that she dives into. But today we'll be talking about the D. Osby Foundation that she started. And the reason being is she lost her husband behind cardiac, I can't pronounce the T word, but the cardiac arrest. And we want to bring awareness, you know what I'm saying, to heart disease and make sure that individuals get an opportunity to get themselves checked out, because the older we're getting, you know what I'm saying, our bodies are starting to give us different signals and signs to say it's time for us to take that thing in there and get checked out. So at this moment in time, Kate, if you don't mind, bring the Boss Queen in and let everybody see our sisters back in the building.
I think she. All right, there she is. Peace and blessings, Queen.
Peace.
What's good? Good to see you again.
Oh, hello. Yes, it's good to be back. Feels like home.
It is, no doubt.
You know, one time, you know what I'm saying, we sit here and you got the wings going, you got the being the author, then your public speaking, then you have this foundation going. And it's like, when do you have time to sleep? Because you have so many things going on. You're working with the homeless, you're doing this, you're doing that. But we'll get to that question in a minute. For those who don't know who the Boss Queen is, you know what I'm saying, reintroduce yourself and let the people know what you do and who you are.
Absolutely, no problem. My name is Sarah Osby, and I am the CEO and founder of Boss Business Queen LLC. I am also the CEO, founder, and board member of D. Osby's Foundation, which we are here to speak about this evening. And it is to bring awareness to cardiac tamponade heart disease and to advocate for early testing for this disease.
Now, with cardiac tapping out disease, what is some of the early signs of that?
There is like excessive saliva,
Mm-hmm.
right? On an ongoing basis, though, not just a one time thing. It's an ongoing basis where you have excess saliva in your mouth. And sometimes, in speaking, you might see a little bit of saliva build up in the corners of the mouth at different times.
Mm-hmm.
There's the palpitations that can feel like it's mimicking a heart attack. Um, it's debilitating, and it usually only lasts anywhere from 5 to 15 seconds, which can feel like a lifetime. You know, um, when you're having trouble breathing because it does have similar symptoms as a heart attack. So there's the chest pain and things like that. So if it feels like you're having a heart attack, it can, and then like all of a sudden you feel like, oh well, no, I'm fine. Just a short, a short bit after that, that is something that you would want to speak to your physician about, and you can request to have testing done for it. I've done so. I've had heart catheterization. I went all in because my testing, which the test that they do is called the stress echocardiogram. It's a simple test. They hook all of these monitors up to you and put you on a treadmill. And
Mm-hmm.
you're on this treadmill for about 10 to 15 minutes. And from that, they can tell. Now, if they can't see clearly, then what's going on, that's when they'll move to what I had, which was the heart catheterization, which they can go through your groin or a vein. They went through my vein and my wrist, and my heart is fine. Thank
Mm-hmm.
God
That's
it's
good.
fine. But it is definitely worth checking out. People don't have to die from this disease. He didn't have to die at just 28 years old from this disease.
Could you turn your volume up just a little bit, sir? Because we hear you, but it's like real low.
Is that better?
That's a lot better.
Okay,
Like you said, your husband returned to the essence at 28 years old. That's a very
28.
young age, and he had just started living life.
Yes.
And could you speak? I know it's kind of hard, when you lose a loved one, but can you kind of speak to that experience of being with him going through that?
So when I met him, he already had this issue. He just was unaware. And so um, during our dating time, and then when we got married, just every so often, it's not a regular timing thing either. So it's very irregular, just pops up. So at different times, sometimes could be, once a month, once every 2 months, 3 months, things like that. And he would just like grip his chest and say that it hurt. And I was like, well, we need to go to the emergency room. He's like, no, fine, it'll pass. It's been happening for years. It's just something that happens. Feels like a heart attack, but it's not.
Mhm.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I didn't know enough, neither did he, to know that this was an issue. We knew about heart attacks, strokes, but you know, not this. This was never discussed. It wasn't an option. And he went to the doctor. I can talk about it now because the
Mhm.
lawsuit is over for years now. But he went to his primary physician complaining of chest pain, and it was chalked up to acid reflux, which they call GERD. Um, he also complained about a dislocated shoulder that happened a few years prior, and he was very athletic, boxing, basketball, things of this nature.
Mhm.
So when going to the doctor and complaining about that, then they, say, oh, this GERD, oh, the chest pain, that must just be, the acid reflux. And then they quickly referred him to an orthopedic surgeon for the shoulder without any testing or anything of that nature, which should have been tested. But most certainly, when you go to the orthopedic surgeon, they should be testing you. This is important because that surgery put too much stress on his heart, which is what caused the cardiac tamponade to inflame and consume his life. What cardiac tamponade actually is in layman terms is your heart sits in a sac, and that sac has a few drops of fluids to keep from the friction from when you have your heartbeats. Well, that sac, when cardiac tamponade is present, fills with fluid and suffocates the heart. It causes labored breathing and things like that until your heart is suffocated and you can no longer breathe. And it's totally preventable. And the treatment that they have for it is it's not a pill, it is the draining of the fluid from the chest. And it sounds much worse than it is. It's very simple. And it's very simple compared to the alternative.
Yeah.
It's just a needle.
Now, are there some preventive measures that individuals can um, take on a part of their life to make sure that they don't get the cardiac tamponade disease?
So, upon research and discovery, they haven't found anything um, as of yet, but they are searching. They are now really actively starting to search. As I said before, this is something that wasn't really spoken of. I've spoken to um, other medical professionals, nurses and such, who like, oh, really? They were taken back. Some had never heard, and the ones that did were surprised that anyone that I knew had suffered from this and died from it because it is rare. It just really means that you have to be on top of your health. So that means that when you have a chest pain, do not just chalk it up to, oh, that must have just been gas. Or, if you're having this particular type of chest pain, like I said, it is debilitating. So it's not gas. You don't burp and it's going to go away. You burp and you're still having that pain. Like it's very excruciating, is what was described to me. And he was 6'1", 225 pounds. So he was a nice sized man. And
Right.
this brought him to his knees. So it is indeed very debilitating.
Um, Again, it's when we're talking about um, your health, people's health, and going forward. Do this disease um, predominantly attack men and women, or people of all races, or how do
It's
that come
been
about?
it's been found to predominantly affect minority people, people, brown and black people, um, predominantly men, but not exclusively men. So
So
women
is it
should very well pay attention.
the stressors that can cause a lot of the issues as well? Because I know that you talked about the surgery that he had and it put stress on his heart. Was he stressed growing up, or had was in stressful situations, had accidents or anything of that nature that would put that type of pressure on his heart?
No, actually, like I said, he was very active. He was relatively healthy. He didn't have a lot of issues. I mean, there was an issue when he was a child, but it was an injury that was it was preventable, but he was a kid being a kid, just being a little 8-year-old boy. So he had a brain injury from falling and cracking his skull, and they had to
Uh-huh.
piece his brain back together, his skull
Ooh.
back together. Yeah. and they didn't think that he was going to live. And they told his mom that, and that he would be a vegetable, and everything they said was, it didn't happen. It didn't ring true. Um, so, he was very healthy. Otherwise, he didn't have issues that way. He, took care of his body. Otherwise, he was very active. He drank a lot of water. Um, he didn't even eat white bread. Like, he ate wheat bread. He was conscious of things that way. Lots of vegetable things like that. So it wasn't a diet thing. It
Mhm.
was it was just a rare onset of it. Yeah, and you just don't know. This is what doctors that are aware of it have told me. You just don't know, and you really should not assume that it's not that serious, and that, oh, it'll pass, or it most certainly will not.
I was just doing the knowledge to it about, and it says that it's a very rare case where it's fewer than 20,000 people uh, in the U.S. alone who gets this. So it's like it's not common to the average heart attack or stroke or anything like this. This is just something that you can it can happen to you unexpectedly. And she's right. You can be in the best of health or worst of health, and all of a sudden that sac that she was talking about, once it gets filled and suffocates from the heart. But it is treatable, definitely treatable, and doesn't require a lot, just good monitoring. That's number one, is getting ourselves checked, get a healthy checkup, and
Yeah.
especially asking about, can you get my heart looked at? So most time we talk about a regular checkup, talking about just the average physical. But when you start pinpointing specific things you want, you need to speak up. You definitely need to speak up
Yeah.
about it.
You
Definitely
definitely do.
so.
You definitely need
Um,
to advocate for yourself, and you need to be strong about it, and very vocal, because we're in a time where we're facing insurance companies and doctors working together for the greater good of the dollar, right? Not necessarily our health, and that's just a matter of fact. And certainly not every doctor, but a wide variety, enough to make a huge difference in the medical care that we receive. And it's predominantly in areas that are underprivileged, underserved, a minority, brown and black people.
Now, also too, we have a question from the audience. Our sister Shemeka, she wants to know, is hypertension or a factor, or what I'm saying, the clogging or diabetes, what's it, red flagging the disease. So she wants to know, is hypertension part of that?
It wasn't for him. It
Mhm.
was not for him. He did not have hypertension, diabetes, or anything of that nature. Um, and as I said, and as King said, it is rare. They are still really studying it to find out all of the triggers and things that would contribute to it. But it is at this point still really rare, and they don't have, all of the even the symptoms. They're not all inclusive. Those are the majority, but they aren't every single symptom, and they can vary from person to person. So they really, please do uh, check with your doctors. Ask those questions. If you have chest pains, please do not ignore it. Um, there could be a number of things wrong, and we would hope that it's not cardiac tamponade, but you want to be certain.
Also, when you go to your doctor, make sure that you go to more than one when it comes down to
Yes.
your heart, because a lot of times you have to understand, like, a lot of doctors are experimenting. They don't know. They're learning as they go. Even though they went to school, they still learning, because you remember that the key word to the medical profession is a practice. So being
Yes.
the fact that they're practicing, they're learning as they go. So you have to find an individual who is in debt in working with hearts, and a good heart doctor to able to see and find out what exactly is going on, and be proactive when it comes down to your own personal health. because in these days and times, we are getting older. Our bodies are giving us signals, and what I'm saying, to a degree, some of us are breaking down. So we have to be more proactive. Um,
You
now,
know,
with
I just want to say, Ja, you're 100% right on that. And I just want to give a quick example. I myself have a rare medical issue that I'm dealing with, right? And I live in Syracuse, New York. And I went to one orthopedic doctor, and they, their conclusion and their diagnosis, and their resolution for the diagnosis was surgery, right? And I did not want to have this surgery. It would cause me to be impaired for the rest of my life. And I'm 52 years old. That was unacceptable to me. So I went for a second opinion. That doctor also is in Syracuse, New York. I had to go to Rochester, New York to get a third opinion from an orthopedic specialist who said he absolutely would not do the surgery on me unless I could bring a person to him that said that they would stay with me for 3 months straight, tending to me hand and foot because I would not be able to get out of the bed. None of this was disclosed to me. So if I wasn't persistent about not having this surgery, if I didn't do my due diligence and have more than one opinion, more than two opinions, then they would have done this surgery, which is called bone fusion, and I would have a limp for the rest of my life.
hmm, and that's something that we have to be always be mindful of. That peace, peace, Aquila. Yeah, that's Murph right there. She's always on it. Um, what is it that she said? I can barely
She's
see it.
saying they love to cut to get more money from the
Yeah,
insurance companies.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
absolutely. They're working, they get the kickbacks. So that's why they do it. And they will continue until they don't receive cutbacks anymore.
Hmm.
And as I often share with more people and people that I speak to in general, I will make them aware, and I just said it to my mother today. The money is not in the cure. The money is in the treatment. So they're
Right,
not trying to really cure things because then they won't make the money.
right,
So,
It's it's crazy because most of the time what they do is a lot of the insurance companies and the medical facilities work hand in hand with certain cases, and then they sit and decide. It's like they're making the tragic decision whether we do this or not, or if you can afford this surgery, or it's like they playing craps with your own life, and you ain't
so
got a word in
essentially,
edgewise. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
so essentially they're deciding if you live or die according to this
Hmm.
medical issue. Yes.
of course. And I tell you, you have to be very mindful also for those individuals who are on social services and they got the insurance through social services, and or you got insurance from your job and private institutions, because the medication that you get is totally different. They will give individuals on social services the bottom shelf medication, right? And they will give individuals in private institutions, a better, quality of medications for their health, because they feel like their insurance is going to pay. So that's something that we have to always be mindful of when we're dealing with these doctors and stuff like that. But we have to be more proactive. One thing, like I will say, like with Akila, she's very on it, where she speaks to the doctor. She gets to the point where she's asking a million and one questions. What I mean? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? So you have to have an individual who is with you, or you have to be that individual who will ask the tough questions, the questions that, because it's a scare tactic a lot of times going into the doctor's office, and they want to make, you scared to ask questions, or make you scared, or put pressure on you to make decisions to do certain things. And so you have to have an individual who is level-headed enough to ask the hard questions. Is this necessary? Is this, what is the cause and effect of this? What is the repercussions? If I don't do this, then what? Is there alternatives? So we have to be very mindful of that going forward. And that's one thing. Like when we talk about mental health, physical health, and all the above, we have to always feel we're in good hands because we only have one body, and we're only going to take this journey one time. So we have to
That's
be
right.
mindful of that. And that's the reality. Now, when did you start the D. Osby Foundation?
So I started the Osby Foundation in November of 2021.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And I had been, now my husband passed away 19 years ago,
Hmm.
which feels like yesterday for me because he was my best friend anyway.
Hmm.
So, but it's been 19 years and I had been looking to find a way to honor his memory. And he was a person who was for the people of his community. And, he uplifted, encouraged, and supported his community thoroughly. So I knew at this point that I was ready to do this. And I knew that this would be a great way to honor his memory. And he would be very happy to know that lives could be saved from bringing awareness to this disease.
You know, that's the call of the day. In the last, I say 2 years, 3 years, we've been caught up in the pandemic. So being able to sit back and to reevaluate life and things going forward, and to be more creative and how we're going to live our lives is something that we've all had the opportunity to do. So to sit back and honor your husband with this foundation is commendable because sometimes we have to slow down, because we're all speeding, we're all rushing, we're all trying to get to this end goal, and we're pushing ourselves harder and harder, and we're putting stress on our bodies, on our mind, and we're going through a lot of things. So during the pandemic, we all got a chance to sit down and really reevaluate ourselves, our lives, our relationships, our everything. So, like I said, want to commend you on taking the time out to do the foundation. And during this period of time, you've done a book, foundation, you kept, what I'm saying, your other businesses afloat, and you've been public speaking, doing women empowerment, working with the homeless. Again, now back to the above question from the very beginning. When do you take time to sleep? Because all these things that you got going on, I know that that's stressful on you.
Well, all of that, and on top of that, I have my 11-year-old granddaughter that I'm raising now. So,
Mhm.
so yes, my princess. Yes. So, um, yes, it can be stressful. It's lots of early days. I'm often up at 4 a.m. You know, and the easy answer to that is a lot of times I try to go to bed when she goes to bed. Even though I wake up and work in the middle of the night, and things like that, I fall asleep with, books in the bed with me and, and things like that because I'm working and it needs to get done. Um, but I don't mind doing it. It is a joy for me. The foundation, this book, you guys, this book. If you purchase this book directly from me, 10% of the proceeds goes to D. Osby's Foundation to help bring awareness to cardiac tamponade heart disease. So stand up, resilient Black women who are shaping the world with their faith. You can
Well,
contact me at bossbusinessqueen@gmail.com and let me know how many copies you would like, and I will ship it out to you.
for those who don't know, we support our fam. That's
Yes,
that's what it is. We
yes,
support
they do. Let me tell you, because both of them, and it says women who are shaping the world with their faith. But this book is not just for women. Both of my brothers here have it. Other men, I have a cousin who purchased 5 copies for one for himself and to distribute to some others. I have other people that are purchasing multiple copies to give as gifts and for other people. But plenty of men are purchasing this book. It's for men, women alike. And I even had my 11-year-old granddaughter read, okay? Because there's some things that she needs to know and understand. And not just about her nana, but just, in life and as a young lady. So um, she has been reading, and I had her give me some feedback on it as well. So it
you.
is for a wide range of people.
I got
That's
a quick question. Going back to uh, the type of disease. Now, has there been any holistic approach or advice to counter most average medical doctrines? Do you know if there's been any holistic advice given to you, or have you spoken with anyone in that field to say, this could, trial and error or whatever, the difference between?
Actually, no, there has not been one that I've found thus far. And I'm very much for the natural, holistic, healing methods above any other. And no, I haven't found one yet to date. I'm searching though.
And sometimes we have to realize that a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of things that's going on, and you have to be in tune with your own personal body to recognize that when things aren't going the way that they should be, because you don't have the energy anymore, or you just have to be mindful of certain signals your body gives. And someone can't tell you how you feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Someone can't tell you how you feel or how you're supposed to feel, because you've been with your body from day one. So if
right.
things aren't going right and you saying like, yo, something is not right, something is not right,
You
then at
need to
that
go
point in
get
time,
checked.
you need to go ahead and get it checked. Because like I said, we're only on this journey one time. So we have to make the best of everything that we do. We have to be more mindful of the things we eat. Our lifestyles sometimes can shorten or cut us,
Yes,
cut years off of us. So we have to be very mindful of the things that we participate in, or the things that we allow to enter, our culture, our way of
yes.
life. Um,
And you know
so
what? You know what, Ja? I am. I am more than an example for this because
mhm,
when my husband was alive, um, I had a pregnancy that could not come to term. I literally was walking around hemorrhaging to death and had no clue, because they kept saying, well, if something were wrong, you would have this pain, you would have that pain, you wouldn't be. And they were asking me how I felt. And I felt better than I had ever felt in my entire life. And I stated that to them. And if I didn't have this one person as a friend at the time, she was very persistent in saying that she wanted me to see her physician. And so she made the appointment, and I saw her physician, and I had to have immediate emergency surgery, life-saving surgery to stop. Yeah, my tube was rupturing, so that's why it ruptured, and I was hemorrhaging, and they had to remove the baby and repair, the tube so that I would not die. And if she had not, been so persistent with me, and if I hadn't had that other opinion, I may very well not be sitting here speaking to you guys this evening. So
Well,
you
yeah,
I
do
think
have to
it's
be very vocal and advocate for yourself and trust your body And even and because I should have trusted that, like I felt better than I felt even as a teenager. That's unheard of. It's unheard of. Oh, excuse me, you guys. That's it's unheard of, you know. And I was really just in shock. I couldn't believe what they were telling me because I felt so good, but it was real. They showed me, and it was real. And I'm just grateful that I was able to take note from my sister and follow through with the appointment. So, and I'm here today as a result of
It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
it. It
You
is.
know, it's very important that we always stress to our people, black man,
Yes.
black woman. We're
Yes.
not this made up Superman, Wonder Woman, uh, the powers that be, or whatever. What we
Okay.
are is
Speak.
humanistic,
Okay.
and we should adhere
That's right.
adhere
That's
to
right.
our
Our lives matter.
own
Yes.
calls. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
take it upon yourself not to hide, but let someone you care about be aware if you're not feeling a certain way that you know you feel. Let someone know right away, or call 911, or seek
Yes.
medical attention the best way that's for you. You know, like my mom's and grandmother's always say, a stitch in time saves nine. Do the right thing for yourself and for your family. Get yourself checked. There's nothing wrong with it. Get yourself checked by
Yeah,
all means.
Yes.
We stress that
um,
right here.
and self care is everything. Um,
Yes.
People don't know. Like, there's so many people. Sometimes the doctors say, "Well, you'll never be able to walk again," and these individuals are
Yes.
walking. You'll never be able to live a productive life. These individuals are living productive lives above and beyond. So, like I said, a lot of
Well,
times individuals
That's right.
don't know.
that
So,
that would be me, Josh. That would be me. The doctor said that I couldn't do it. They said I wouldn't be able to work again. And they're right. I'm not punching the clock for anyone. And I haven't since 2013. So, but he said that I wouldn't be able to do all of the things that I'm doing now. And I'm doing them. I'm cooking, the cooking business. I'm helping feeding the homeless with the Grace and Mercy. I have a Boss Princess component, right, for the young girls in the community. I have the DR Speech Foundation. I have the Boss Business Queen that is helping women to start, build, and grow their business. And under that, I also have written the stand up anthology in that under Boss Business Queen. And that I also do the public speaking under Boss Business Queen. So for someone who they told couldn't do it, they said I couldn't. So I did.
That's right.
Just that, just like that. They said I couldn't, so I did.
and that's the thing. Like, you never allow someone to control your narrative
That's
or
right.
That's
tell
right.
you how far you can go with anything. Always remember that you have to take time out for yourself to make sure that the vehicle that you're using through life is running to its best ability. So the
Yeah.
doctor can't tell you you can't do this. The doctor can't tell you you can't do that. There's a lot of times, people have laid on that gurney and they sit there and they pray to their God, and they begging for help and all this other stuff. And the reality is, if you have a determined idea of being healthy and successful, that's what's going to be. Um, definitely, what I'm saying, you have to prove them wrong. Like Akila said, you have to definitely prove them wrong. And I think that's something that we all should have within us. Whereas anytime an individuals tell you something that you can't do,
Mhm.
that you're going to show them that you can. And that's a motivating factor. And I think that from our generation, that's something that we carry with us, that we never allow individuals to tell us what we can't do or what we're
Right.
not going to do, because we always step up and we always push forward. And but when it comes down to our health, we have to be mindful. We have to be
Yes.
mindful of the things that we take in our bodies. We have to be mindful of the places that we go, or the stresses that we put on our bodies. Because, like I said, we only get one trip. What I mean? We only get
That's
one
right.
trip. And within the last 2, 3 years, we lost a lot of people. because of underlying health issues, whether it's heart disease, whether it's uh, uh, diabetes, strokes, things of that nature, and compounding it with, the pandemic and the COVID and things of that nature. So you have to be mindful. Go get that checkup. You know what I'm saying? I know as a man, the worst thing in the world is to go in the doctor's office. I've heard some crazy news. Every time I go in the doctor's office, I hear something crazy. And I'm like, man, I don't know. What I'm going to do, this, that, and the third, But to have the support system that I have, I always push forward and always, going to keep pushing forward, regardless to whom or what. I know me personally. So for those individuals who are in earshot, make sure that you go get yourself checked out. Go to these go to different doctors. Go find specialists. Look up specialists, and be mindful that when you have insurance, they'll give you a referral. See, their referral is in their network. That's their homeboy. That's their friend that they deal with. So they want their friend to get some of that money. So, so I'm letting you know, saying off the top, this is what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, all that matters is you're healthy. You want to make sure you're healthy and that you're able to wake up in the morning. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Black men, get your prostate checked. Get that prostate check. Tell him.
Because right now, our black men really need to get themselves checked out. I can't even tell you how many friends that I've spoken to that they're like, oh, I'm not going, ain't nobody gonna be doing this to me, doing that to me. And I'm like, oh, so you rather wait until you're dead? I mean, that's the alternative.
That's definitely the alternative.
You can get it done now, or you can get it done when you land on that cold metal table, and they're gonna do it anyway to determine what was wrong with you. So, do you want to get it done now and be temporarily uncomfortable, or do you just want to be up out of here early because it's a very real possibility? And the reality is that, like now, I don't go to doctors. If you live in an inner city and it's known to be, hoodish, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to those doctors. I go to the doctors they go to.
Right.
I care for my body. I want the best also. And what I've found is that you're putting the low totem pole, the bottom people in the hood, in the neighborhoods where the brown and black people who are guessing, who don't know, who don't really care, who are succumbing to the insurance companies bullying, telling them, well, just give them this medicine, try this instead. They're succumbing to that. But when you go out into the suburban areas where our Caucasian counterparts live, okay, you don't find that. You find more of they're investigating to find out. There was a TV show that used to come on about this doctor, and he was rude. He had no bedside manner whatsoever, but he was genius at what he did. He was skilled. He was so
Oh,
gifted.
that was
Doctor.
House. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Let me tell you, they don't want you getting to know Dr. House. They don't want that. That's why all of the doctors aren't talking. They're not communicating. So your primary doctor should be communicating with any specialist that you have to know what's going on so they can collaborate and together they can put together a plan that's going to help to make you help you to recover successfully or treat you successfully so that you can live a healthy and productive life. But this is not their goal any longer. This is not what they're doing. It's all about that dollar bill. This is what they're chasing. And they don't care how many lives are lost because and it's not every single doctor, and I'm sure you guys know that, but I'm going to keep reiterating that because I don't want anybody to come on back and say it's not because I have medical people. My mother's a nurse.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's not all medical people, but there are too many of them, and they don't care about anything other than the dollar. For instance, the doctor that did the surgery on my husband is an orthopedic specialist. Arrogant, cocky, something, I tell you, because in court, he heard another cardiologist from California get on the witness stand. Yes, there was a trial. Got on the witness stand and testified that this cardiac tamponade could have been detected and that he would still be alive had they done the stress echocardiogram. And this doctor's response, Dr. Daniel Carr, said that he did nothing wrong. It was not his fault, and he doesn't know why he's in court. So that was his attitude, he didn't really care. They sent me a fruit basket and told me sorry for my loss was what they did. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I made sure they was real sorry. That's why we were in court and I won, just so anyone I won. Okay, I did.
We
Yes.
have a comment here stating it was a glorious moment when they was able to walk back into the neurologist's office with their bachelor degree in hand. And after they told me to stop attending school because my brain was too damaged by the stroke and I wouldn't be able to retain the information to achieve my degrees.
Mm,
More power to you. You did exactly what was set in your mindset to do, not what somebody else
yes.
told you to do. So that's the power
Yes.
within. That's the true God
And
within self that overcomes
congratulations.
all adversities. No, like the God was telling, don't let nobody take away what you know you can do for yourself
Yes.
in the mental, as far as to advocate that physicalness.
Yeah.
Because the first thing they want to do is destroy your mental, so your physical will follow after. Stay strong and true
Yes.
to who you are, as they say. Stay strong to your dean and your word, because your word is your bond. His word is life. So you got it. You got it, Queen. Absolutely.
Yes, definitely. Yes,
Congratulations on the bachelor's too. Congratulations. Yes,
Absolutely.
you did
that's
that. Yes.
that's our sister Shameka. She's at Patterson, but she live out in Pelon. You know what I'm saying? She's a good sister, and she's
Yes,
overcome a lot.
Rebecca. Yes.
She overcome a lot. Peace, Duquan. We
Peace
need
and
to
quiet
build.
was good, God.
We need to build. There's going to be a show down there in Darlington. I might need your assistance, your security team. Uh, but going forward, it's definitely something that you have to look into. Be mindful that it's your body. It's your journey. You know, but also too,
It's your story.
it's your story. But
Yes. And you
Sarah,
control the narrative.
what events do you have coming up? Because I know you do a lot of speaking engagements and things like that, and I want to be able to touch on some of these things before we run out of time, because we could have this dialogue all evening. Um,
Absolutely.
but I want to make sure that we touch on the events that you have in that and everything else. So, what event? Because I saw you with the public speaking. How did your public speaking go? And do you have any more public speaking events?
Very well, very well. So I am working on some other speaking engagements locally, but I have a speaking engagement scheduled in the fall in North Carolina.
All
In
right.
North Carolina, October 7th through 9th, and I will be speaking. And the event is the author's Soul Revival, and it is being sponsored and hosted by Miss Ardenae Gardner, who is the visionary author of Stand Up, Resilient Black Women Who Are Shaping the World with Good Faith, this woman right here. And and I'm going to be a main speaker there, so I'm pretty excited about that. But I do have other engagements coming here in Syracuse, one on July 23rd, another one on August 6th. They are both local events um, that are widely publicized as well. And I am also in the process of putting together an event for Long Island to come down to Long Island. And yes, and stand up for my people down there. Since I'm from Roosevelt, you
All
know,
day, all
that's
day.
right. I gotta let it be known. I got, and ain't nothing short about the port, okay? I've
All
been there too. I
right.
lived
All
there
right.
too, okay? All right.
One left, one right.
That's right. That's right. Because I lived in both places. I was born living in Roosevelt, but I was born at the hospital in Freeport, and at 9 years old, moved to Freeport and stayed there for about 5 to 6 years before I moved back to Roosevelt. But that story's in my book because I was a hot mess as a teenager. So get the book, especially if you're nosy. Go get the book. You'll find
Yeah.
out why, okay?
We got a comment here from Jamela Law. It says, Peace Queen. It's the God Jamela Law, founder of the Back to the Essence Policy Fund.
Mhm.
So we're going to need more info on that, Lord. If you got the time, pop it up and we'll see if we can have a discussion with you on that.
Now, also too, now I'm glad that Jamel popped up with that, because we're talking about cardiac arrest, we're talking about heart, we're talking about health. And one thing that we need to always remember, that we need to have insurance and policies and things, to do the adult thing and have insurance, because everybody is not going to contribute to your GoFundMe to bury you. Everybody is not going to go to your fish fry to bury you, or what I'm saying, because you were what I'm saying, negligent with your own self-care. So salute Jamel for what he does for the nation of Gods and Earths, 5% Nation, whereas he has a life insurance policy, burial policy, whereas for those individuals who don't have policies, they can invest with him with his policy, and he can help, send you home with a proper services.
You hitting it right on the head, God. And let's be 100 with it too, because when you don't have insurance, a lot of people that may not know this, something happens to you, Pastor, you return to the essence, you don't have insurance. What do you think is going to happen to your body that nobody else is going to know about? Your body parts, your certain things is going to someplace else that you have no control over or
Donating
whereabouts.
to
Your family
science.
will not even know what's going on. They thinking they burying your body, but they burying an empty casket. Because when they tell
Yes.
you, oh, you can only have a closed casket, guess what? Your body parts has been 6 degrees of separation to somebody else, and you have no clue. Your family's clueless. So it's time to really think about what you need to do for self. Put it on paper, put it on black and white,
Yes.
and get it stamped.
Please get a
Absolutely.
life insurance policy. You know, they asked for my husband's brain and other organs. I said, no, he will leave what he came with.
Indeed.
Oh, you
Indeed.
know what? He just posted his number out there.
Yeah.
So
And
if
Jamel,
this
we'll
is
give
what
you a
everybody
call.
do,
We'll definitely give you a call to connect with you. I already got your number, but okay.
I think he's wanting to post so other people can know on the air that they can call
Yeah.
him
Yes.
if they're looking for it. So the
Yeah.
number to call is 347-472-8917. Once again, 347-472-8917. And let them know you heard him right here, to tell them the guards called you from the Real to Real 360. We're telling you about it.
That's it.
Thank you for
But
what
that's
you do, Jamel. Thank you for what you do.
Peace to the God.
Yes.
peace to the God. We definitely want to make sure that we touch all bases. So with make sure that you get tested. Make sure that you make that doctor's appointment. Make sure that you're working with a doctor that you feel comfortable with. That's number one, because you just don't want to sit there with anybody and just accept anything. You have to be comfortable with the doctor that you're going to see and things of that nature. So please, but please be proactive when it comes down to your mental health. Be proactive when it comes down to your life. Self-care. Like a lot of times we grind so hard, we work so hard, and we neglect ourselves. Sometimes you have to take a step back and say, I need this day for myself. I need a mental health day. I need to, something is not right. My arms is killing me. My chest is hurting. I've been having these pains. Be very mindful going forward with your own personal life. And,
Yeah.
I tell you, Kay, we're going to have to start, I guess, next season we're gonna have to start doing 1.5-hour shows because the shows go by so quick, and it's just a lot of information be left on the table.
Yeah.
But
And
I don't have to.
I do want people to know, that when they see their doctors,
Mhm.
please understand that you have nothing to fear. They work for you. They're
Right.
getting paid for you because of you. So you very well have the right to tell them what you will and will not accept.
Absolutely.
It's your choice.
Ain't
They are
nothing
to
wrong with a
present
second
your
opinion too.
options to
That's
you.
right.
That's right. And a third if
And
necessary.
third, that's
It
right.
helped me and it can very well help you. And please, please, please get tested. If you have any issues with your heart, please don't delay. Get tested. My husband was 28 years old for 4 days. I didn't get to tell you guys that. He died
Wow.
4 days after his 28th birthday.
Okay, the God
Please
just
get
also said
tested.
if anyone wants to, they can donate to the fund as well. It's just $3 a month. All right, peace, God.
Please God.
And
Um,
it's another vital thing before we go, God, I must stress this 100%. Do your research on whom it is that you're going to try to have to do to yourself. If you got a doctor, you can research that doctor's criteria. You can. It is public information, but you got to be the expected gadget to do more research. All
and
right? Just
I'm gonna,
fall for the okie doke.
I'm gonna say this: make sure you go to a doctor and not a nurse practitioner.
Yes,
The difference. There's
MD.
a difference because they will push a nurse practitioner, and there's nothing wrong with nurse practitioners or whatever the case may be. But make sure you go to a doctor and not a nurse practitioner. Because as you know, in the wisdom build degree in the 1 to 40, it tells you about those nurses.
There you go.
And it tells you about those doctors. So basically, we're going to, I hate to, like I said, the time is running and we're going to have to come back. But one thing I will say, like, we never have to tell Sarah, you know what I mean, this is your home because she's already comfortable. Her feet is always in the living room.
If you don't know, now you know, sister.
That's right.
And we will be bringing her back periodically because she has so many different events, so many things that are going on and moving forward. She's a great woman. If you're in the Syracuse area, you know what I'm saying, make sure you tap into Mars Wings. Make sure you tap in with her, period, because you never know the things that she has that she can help you with because she has a lot of resources. Absolutely. Not just the food, but she has connections where she can help you get the things that you need for you and your family.
Yes.
All
And
right.
if you really want to connect with me, if you want food, you can call Ma's Wings and Things. We do cater. You can call 315-870-0142. If you would
Hit that
like
number
me
one more
for
time. Hit that number one more time.
that would be 315-870-0142. That is for Ma's Wings and Things Catering Service. And if you would like me for a speaking engagement or to refer me, you can do so at bossbusinessqueen@gmail.com. And you can also visit the D. Osby's Foundation website at d-osbys.org. And you can purchase a copy of Stand Up, and 10% will be donated to the foundation.
Okay.
I
Also, too,
appreciate
how can
everyone.
people donate to the foundation?
You can also donate on the website. There's PayPal on the website for donations to D. Osby's Foundations. And we will be having a fundraiser this summer as well.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a great episode of the Real to Real 360. Make sure that you get yourself tested. Make sure you get yourself checked out. And at this time, Kay, you know what time it is, Lord.
Hey,
Take us
you
out of here.
done did the due diligence right there. Ain't enough for me to say except follow that lead and say peace to Allah's mighty 5% nation of gods and earth, to all the human families of the planet Earth. This is DJ K Wise along with my co-host with the most, my brother in God with the 50 grand. I still need a 5% nickel. You know what I mean? So We love y'all. You know what I'm saying? And thank you once again to our great special guest, our sister, Sarah, the boss business queen herself. You can hit us up right here on the Real to Real. And I see one more comment before we go. Oh, peace unto you, Queen. Most definitely. Thank you for the add-on with building with the gods and the beautiful queens right here. We will see you soon. We got coming up next, God?
We got Margot Thunder tomorrow.
Oh, y'all don't want to miss this. All I'm gonna say is a voice like none other except hers in the right, and it's dynamic. All right, yo. Much love and success to everybody, and we just gonna move on like we do. So I'm gonna pull everybody off. Sister Sarah, don't go nowhere. We'll be we gonna stay in the back party, and we gonna discuss some things.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting to come to the end of the show. Right now, I want to take the time out and thank our guests for coming on. Also, too, we want to make sure that y'all listening and subscribing, and tell a friend, and keep sharing, because we're going to keep bringing y'all the real content. You know what I mean? So, DJ KY, brother, take us up out of here, son. Peace.
I want to give a big shout out to the nation of gods and earth, to all the human families on the planet Earth. I say peace. But you are subscribing, those who continue to watch and listen to the show each and every time we come on. I give a big shout out of love, peace, and happiness.
Come on, babe.
To be the man, woman, and child of the you and I first. It's time for us to disperse. We bring the best, not thank you once again for tuning in to the real 360. Bring a friend to hit that like and subscribe so we continue to grow to bring more knowledge of wisdom to you upon our show. You make it possible for us to do what we do. Now it's time I end it just the way I bring it.